Hey guys, so today I want to show you how I touch up my highlights at home. I have been doing hair color at home since I was a teenager, and the reason for that is because my hair is naturally ashy, light ashy brown. So the blonde color that I usually do, like a balayage or highlights, um, takes easily on my hair. If you've never done your hair by yourself before, or if you have virgin hair, like never colored hair, please don't try this at home for the first time. And also, I'm not a hairstylist, I'm not a beautician. I'm simply someone who has been doing their own hair for a very long time, both cutting and color. And this is just how I do it at home. It's my experience. And if you're just doing your own research on YouTube to see what you can do for yourself, feel free to take this more like informational video. But if you do decide to do it, you're doing it at your own risk. I can't guarantee the results. This is my hair before, and then I'll show you the results after. I haven't dyed my hair in a bit. Last time I dyed my hair, I actually just did my roots. And if you can see up close, I have a lot of white hair. And so white hair also takes color in a different way. So if you have a lot of gray hair and you're doing this at home, you might want to look at the label and make sure that there is coverage for gray hair. As far as cutting my own hair, right now I have a fringe. Just recently I chopped off my hair up to here, and I've been cutting my hair for many years. I used to go to this amazing woman in Chinatown, and she used to work for Bumble and Bumble and opened up her own space in Chinatown, and she was very affordable. And what I loved about her cuts was that your hair actually looked better as it was growing out. Unfortunately, with my own cuts, that's not the case. My hair looks better just cut, and then as it starts to grow out, you can definitely see that it needs maintenance. But I don't mind cutting my own hair. I actually enjoy it. I always have good results, and I get good feedback from people. People always ask me like, oh, where do you go? Where do you cut? Where do you color your hair? So I figured, you know what, after doing it all these years, let me just share with the community. And if it benefits you in some way, please feel free to share in the comments below. The paint on method that I will be using today is kind of like a balayage method. So I do freehand painting over my hair, and I will show you step by step. So this is not just a talk through, I'm actually doing it. The color that I bought this time is Revlon, and it comes with a cap, which I never use. So if you want those old school 90s streaks in your hair, then definitely use a cap, but I don't recommend it. So I'll be doing this freestyle. And this is ammonia free. If your hair is darker and you know that it's not taking color easily, then you might need something stronger. But this is what I'll be using today. Okay? I'm gonna pause the video now, and I'll see you in a few when I'm ready to color my hair. Alrighty, and we're back in my bathroom. I'm wearing a bathing suit. And the reason for wearing a bathing suit is because it's going to be very easy for me just to pop it off and jump in the shower and wash out the coloring from my hair. In the past, I've used a garbage bag over my shoulders. Some people use old t-shirts and continue to use the same t-shirt when they dye their hair. That only works if you're gonna wash out your hair over the sink or in the shower without jumping in the shower. But because I intend to take a full body shower, I like wearing a bathing suit top. So when you open up the Frost & Glow box, what comes in it is a full set, okay? So there is a little mixing jar, plastic jar, the famous cap that I mentioned, which I did use in the early 2000s, but alas, I am not in love with that method anymore. So this is the cap that I will be tossing out today, and I will not be using this tool, and I might not use this spatula, only for mixing the hair color. Okay, and then the instructions are in here. I definitely suggest you read the instructions. I've read them a million times because I've dyed my hair so many times throughout the years. But if you're doing this for the first time at home by yourself, again, you're doing it at your own risk. But if you like my results, feel free to try it on your own. There are gloves. There's a hat or a cap that you can put on top of your head after the color is applied, and I definitely suggest using gloves because the paint can burn off some of the skin, so be mindful not to put paint on your hair with bare skin. Okay, so here basically let's see. The first thing we need to do is mix this Frost and Glow cream developer with the powder. Okay, so there's a cream developer, Frost and Glow, and there is a Frost and Glow highlighting powder. Okay, we'll mix that in. Okay, we'll separate the hair the way we want to style it, the way we want the highlights to hit certain areas of the hair, and then we'll start applying. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is mix the cream developer. Okay, also make sure that you have the fan going on, because the fumes can be quite strong, so be mindful not to inhale the fumes from the color. Even though there's no ammonia in this one, okay, I can't guarantee what brand you end up using that it won't smell bad. Okay, then we have the Frost and Glow. Okay, I'm gonna open that up and I'm gonna pour the powder in here. Also, if you're doing this in the bathroom or on a floor that you want to preserve and not have any stains on, make sure that your floor area is either covered with plastic or that you move any carpeting. Okay. And what this box also gives you is a shampoo and a conditioner specifically to this brand, which will emphasize the highlights. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. All right, and now that we have the powder with the cream developer, I'm just simply going to mix it in and mix it well. Okay, now I have to say that when I started doing balayage, I did a lot of research on toners, right? Especially if your hair color is a little bit on the darker side or it has a lot of brassy undertones. If you go light really quickly, your hair will probably turn orange. Okay, and so in order to minimize that, you can apply toners. There's a lot of different videos out there, a really good hairstylists that are doing videos and tutorials on mixing different toners based on the tone that you want to achieve. So at one point I remember I was using T13 and I think T8. I can't remember exactly right now, but I'm not using a toner because all the beauty stores that I frequent are closed because of the pandemic. So I am just applying this hair color, and hopefully the highlights will turn out nice and will be more like wheat color because of my base. Okay, and when I retouched my roots the other month, like 2 months ago, I did the lightest ash brown, and before that I did the darkest ash blonde. Okay, so that's something, just because my hair is naturally ashy, and ashy tones seem to work really well with my skin color as well, even though my skin color can go both ways. I look good in reds as well. I used to dye my hair red at one time. So yeah. And as far as cutting the hair, I have to say, when I used to have really long hair and I did high layers, Farah Dukai, who has a YouTube channel, did an amazing video tutorial, and honestly, like, I followed it to a T and my hair looked gorgeous. And then with my coloring, you know, I always got compliments on how beautiful my hair looked like. And at that time I was also doing the inversion method of how to grow my hair faster so it looks healthy, and the inversion method really works. Okay, so here it is, the mix. Okay, this is how it looks like. Keep in mind that this is the type of color that swells, right? This is the type of chemical process that makes this a bit foamy. So when you're applying it on your hair, you will see that it can transfer to the other strands very easily. So if you don't want that, you can wrap your hair in foil. So the strands that you actually dye, you can wrap them in foil, foregoing all those extra steps. Okay, so this is what we'll do now. I will take off my ponytail. I'll brush my hair out. And you want to brush your hair out because you don't want any knots in your hair when you're applying color. And then once you wash your hair and you apply conditioner later, and you see that you have like blotches all over your head, so that's not a good look. Okay, alright, and my hair is nice and oily. You never want to color your hair when it's freshly washed, because your natural oils did not have a chance to saturate the strands, which protect your hair follicles. So what I'm gonna do is I'll start from the bottom. So I'll pick up the top portion of my hair, I'll put it up, and then the bottom strands is what I'm gonna start with. Okay, the hair on top of your head actually develops much faster because there's a lot of heat that rises to the top, and so that makes the hair color develop faster. So this is why I'm starting from the bottom. Okay, and because I'm using a free painting method, I'm not being very particular with it. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of like eyeball it, if you will. All right, so I'm gonna brush that out, brush that. All right, then I'm gonna apply the gloves. It can be a little bit harder with the gloves, especially if you have small hands like me, and these gloves are not the tightest fit. Okay, all right, So here we go. Let me get the other glove. And basically what I'm doing, okay, I'm just picking a strand. I'm gonna apply some paint. I'm not gonna go all the way up, okay? And what I'm gonna do where there's a line is I'm gonna rub that area like so, so there's not a clear dividing line where I'm painting my hair. I'm gonna drag it all the way down towards the tips. Okay. Make sure that the strands are well saturated. Okay. I'm going on one side and the other side. Okay. And some people do it in the middle as well. This strand is not that thick. So I'm going from one side and the other side, making an unclear separation and then dragging the color all the way down to the bottom, to the tips. Okay? And I might return later and add more color. Okay? Just picking up another random strand from the back, brushing it out, and then again I'm gonna apply this color to the side. I'm gonna apply a little more on the other side. Rub the color, and then drag it down. Okay. I'm gonna use a little more paint because I feel like this is not enough. Okay. You really want to make sure that the strands are saturated well. Otherwise, your hair color pattern will be blotchy. Okay. All right. There you go. If you're very particular with your hair coloring, this freehand method might not be the best for you. And I must say that I like this method when you just want subtle change, subtle highlights, just giving your hair color a little more pop. Okay? If you notice that your hair is longer and it tangles, keep brushing it out. There is a really good hair colorist, hairstylist on YouTube. I forget his name. I think it's something Tran. He's based out of LA, and when I watch his work, I just find it really beautiful, and it's mastery. It's really mastery of hair art, if you will. That's it. And now I'm gonna go to the other side. Okay, so I'm gonna pull the hair from this side that hasn't been painted yet. And same technique. Apply it on the edge. I'll apply it on the other edge. I'll make sure to saturate it a little more with my fingers, breaking that harsh line. I'm gonna add a little more here. And actually, there's quite a lot of paint. If you have medium length or shorter hair like me, there's a lot of paint to go around. So don't worry that you're gonna run out of hair color unless you have like a really thick hair. Then I'm sorry, you might need 2 boxes. But for this, I'm using just 1 box. All right. Let's add a little more. Side. If you have like a real paintbrush that you can use, you can do that. It can be a little better than this plastic spatula that I'm using. But since I'm used to doing this kind of work, the tool really doesn't matter at this point. You know, I can just do it with my fingers as well. It would be just the same. Okay. That's it. And then I have one more layer right here. I'm gonna brush that out. Brush that out. It looks very sloppy, so please, if you're a professional, don't kill me. I know this is not how you guys do it, but you know, I also don't spend $200 on hair color, unfortunately. And I know some of my friends do. More power to them. But this is what I do for myself. Okay. Alrighty. Then I'm gonna take off the gloves, bring down another layer from the top. Okay. I'm gonna do one side. I'm gonna do one side and retie the rest. Okay. Brush this out and then pick the strands that I want to color.
Okay, so my video cut off. So what I'm saying is that what's really important for me is that the hair that's closer to my face is lighter, because it just makes me look a little healthier and overall gives brightness to my face. So I'm doing this here. I'm going to go a little bit higher. Then I'm going to do the side. You can see that. And I'm going to go a little bit in the middle, but a little bit lower. Okay? So I go a little bit higher on these streaks that are on the outer edges. And each time making sure that I'm breaking the line of demarcation and then drawing the color down to the tips. Okay? This is why it looks more like sun-kissed highlights than those harsh one-tone highlights. Okay? That seems to be good. Maybe I'll add a little bit more color here. Just a little more. And if you see that some areas are not taking the color, make sure that you've saturated a little more. At any point, feel free to fast forward through this video as I go through the hair, because this is not a time lapse. Alright. Now, let me see what else I have here. Okay. And this color has not been touched. Alright. So, same principle. Applying it on the edge. Down, down, down. And then on the other side as well. Oops, you see? Transparent. So I need to make sure that this inner edge is a little bit more even than what I'm watching this. There we go. I've been painting my hair, or free painting my hair for so long, and I've been meaning to do a video of this for a while, especially because a lot of people ask me like how I cover my hair and if I would do it for them. You know, like cutting someone's hair is one thing, but coloring someone's hair is a completely different ballgame. Also, if you have curly hair, you know, your application may completely vary. My hair is straight, naturally straight, so I feel like when cutting and coloring hair that's of different texture, I really can't speak from experience because I haven't tried it on anyone with curly hair. I also love cutting bangs. I've been cutting my own bangs since I was a kid. My mom taught me how to cut bangs, and she cuts her own bangs, and we rarely actually let our hairdressers cut our bangs. And it's funny because, you know, you'll say one thing and, you know, they'll see your face and they'll try to match what they think would suit your facial structure, I guess. But you know, when you're styling your own bangs, you know what works and what doesn't for your face. So, yeah, I just found that doing my own fringe has worked really well for me. And again, I've also gotten a lot of compliments on my fringes, whether they were like blunt bangs, straight cuts, or they were like a side swept bang. I usually get a lot of comments. So, there you have it. I do it myself. Here we go, free painting. Good. And look, you know, your ends will probably end up being a little bit dry, and it's always good to cut off a bit off your hair after coloring if you notice those brittle, dry ends. You see how it's almost like I'm brushing it out, I do want a little more blonde here, so I'm going to go a little bit more on the other side, just adding some thickness here. Yep. There we go. And look, this is a process, so give yourself time. Don't rush through it. Don't do it just before an event because your hair is never going to look as good when it's just done. It always looks better when it's lived in a little bit, from my experience. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I feel like I need a little more here. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I saturate the strands really, really well because it has happened to me in the past that I haven't saturated the strands and I have gotten blotchy areas, and no one likes that. You can pull it off if you curl your hair a lot with a curling iron, but if your hair is mostly on the straight side, then, you know, everything is pretty visible. Alright, so here I am, adding another layer from the top, and then I'll start working my way towards my bangs. Okay, here we go. And then guys, once I'm done with my hair coloring process, you know, I'll let the color process for, I guess, about 20 minutes or however much time the box says. I'll wash it out, I'll do my hair, and then you guys will see the final results. Okay, so here we go. This looks pretty good so far. Okay, so this is a bigger strand, and I'm going to keep it as one big strand, and I'll apply the same technique. Okay, so here, line going down. There we go. You know, another thing is, I live in New York City, and, you know, I have to tell you that, you know, hair cutting rates and hair coloring rates here are probably way higher than, you know, in a smaller town. So, it was kind of like out of necessity, you know, in my 20s when I was just working, building myself, going to school, building my career, that, you know, I was doing my own hair. Though I have to say that my Chinese hairdresser, June was amazing, and her prices were very, very affordable for New York City. And so for me, it wasn't, you know, like, with her, it wasn't the rates. For me, it was just making the time because she was so busy that her lines were, even if you made an appointment, you still ended up having to wait like 45 minutes. You know, they wash your hair and then you sit down and you wait for your chair to open up. So as my life got busier with work and school, I just didn't have the luxury of sitting down and waiting for so long. So that's another thing. Alright. That's good. And now we're going to add some more hair. And there's actually a strand from the back that I have to go back to because I missed it when I was bringing the rest of the hair from the back down. I missed that strand, so it's still kind of up there, and that's okay. That is just fine. Now here we have a lot of hair. So what I'm going to do here is divide it into two, and then, you see that? Yeah. And my current haircut is pretty much straight cut with a fringe. I still have to put my gloves on. But it's almost done. It's almost done. We're almost there. And as you see, this color that I currently have is more on the wheat color spectrum. So I apologize if you hear background noise. That's just my family. There we go. So from the front, the side here. And you can make your strands more narrow, right? So you don't have as much hair. If you want more highlights and more subtle highlights, I'm just kind of going as the sun would hit it. Because when I was growing up, I would spend a lot of time in the sun in Greece. I'm originally from Serbia, and so we would spend our summers in Greece and all day in the sun, and you could see how the sun would naturally hit the strands of the hair, and my hair would always be so much lighter in the summer months. I'll do one in the middle, a little bit lower. Okay. Add that in. Drag it down. I'm going to add a little more thickness here. I just think it's going to look good. And some techniques I've seen is people go like this with a comb, and honestly, for me, it's really hard to brush out my hair and make those knots disappear, so I prefer to use my fingers to just make the line less visible, right? Like here. There we go. Alright. I'm going to do that back strand now, right here, and then I'm going to complete the front and my fringe. And that will be it. And you'll be all good to go, just like me. Okay? So this back strand here, oops, and this here. So actually, I missed the spot, so I'm going to do this one, and then the one in the back that I missed from the split. Remember, I split these into two, so I'm sorry. Okay. This is why it's always easier when you split the back hairs than doing it upwards like this. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to speed up through this, and I'll come back with the fringe, okay? Okay, and as you see, the color is slowly actually developing, so I'm getting to the last bits of the color. Okay? And I will probably fast forward some of the video portions, otherwise this video will be like an hour long. And maybe some people would appreciate that, but maybe some people would not. Alright. So, I'm going to do the last strand and then the fringe. Okay. This is the last bit. Also, when you're doing this yourself, if you do this yourself at your own risk, it's important that the front pieces are done well. Otherwise, that's what people see first thing when they see you. It's around your face, so make sure that you don't make a boo-boo on the front of your hair. Okay? Under the hair, like in the back, usually not such a big deal, but in the front, you really, really want to make sure that it's done well. the fringe, just do it the way you want it to highlight. I usually like to have my hair to the side. I rarely do a center part. And some people look really good with the center part. I'm not one of those people. So the way you like to style your hair is what I would say is generally your guideline of how you want to highlight your hair. Okay. There we go. So actually on the fringe I'm going to do a similar thing. Okay. I'm just going to go a little bit higher with the fringe because that frames the face. So you don't want to have it like just at the tip. The lighter strands will kind of give your face a frame. That's it. Okay. There we go. I'm going to do a little more here as well. Go up. And just finishing up the fringe. And that's that. That's that. Now we're gonna let this color develop. Okay, let's see what it says. Peekaboo. Okay, so you can put the cap on if you will, and you shouldn't let the color sit on your hair for more than 60 minutes. Okay? So, yeah, that's it. If you have perm hair, don't exceed 10 minutes. Okay? Otherwise, up to an hour for this to develop. I can already see that my hair is getting lighter and lighter. I'm probably going to keep it on for about 20 minutes or so, and I'll jump in the shower. And like I said, I'll do my whole hair, and then I'll come back and you'll see the results. Okay? Hope you like it.
All right, and so this is the final result. This is after using the shampoo and conditioner that are provided with the Revlon hair color, and I let it air dry for about 20 minutes to half an hour. I walked my dog, and then I finished off just with like a soft blow dry. I didn't really curl it or anything. I just passed the brush, and this is the result. And I'm pretty happy with it, though I think I do want to go a little bit lighter, especially because it's the summer and I will tan a little more, and I feel like I could use a little more brightness, but it's definitely way brighter, and I feel like my face is already fresher. And this is how it looks like from behind. And I also like to flip it to this side so that you see that even underneath I did a pretty good job of covering the underside. So I'm pretty happy with the results. I hope you like it. Leave me any comments below, and I hope that this was informational, maybe educational, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye.